What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new story. If you've been around my channel long enough, you know I've already covered a topic like this before. If you're new here, well, a while ago I started a video about the Ginyu Force turning good, and I never finished that story. The last episode for it was in 2021. At this point, why not just remake it completely? Today, we begin a kind of brand new story. What if the Ginyu Force turned good? Let's begin. I'm going to be starting this one off differently from the last one too. The Ginyu Force is a pretty goofy group, so having a what-if focus on them, it is going to be a little bit more lighthearted, I guess is a good way to put it. Now, it's not going to be a crazy scenario where I just do whatever, like one of the April Fool's ones. But we'll have a little bit more leeway here. I'll still try and keep it grounded too. Ginyu is far too loyal to Frieza, so I don't think he's going to betray Frieza on Namek or switch up on him at all. So everything on Namek is going to go completely normal. We're going to skip forward a bit from the point when the Ginyu Force actually dies on Namek. There's a wish made to Shenron: revive everyone killed by any of Frieza's men. Now, the Ginyu Force is a weird distinction. So, they were killed by Vegeta mostly. Ginyu actually lived, as a frog, but the rest of them were killed by Vegeta. Vegeta at this point, of course, defected from the Frieza Force. He most certainly wasn't part of them. But that's the small change we're going to make here. Shenron considers Vegeta as one of Frieza's men still. So this also brings back anyone killed by Vegeta. Now, this will include Zarbon, Dodoria, and Kui, and Apul too. But, more important, the Ginyu Force is brought back. On Undying Namek, Jace, Guldo, Birder, and Recoome all return. They're a bit confused as to why they're back in the first place, and also, they have no clue where Ginyu went, but they find a frog nearby. It's Ginyu. It takes them a bit for them to realize it's him, but they figure it out. And now they're kind of panicking because the planet's collapsing around them, and they look over in the distance and see what looks to be Frieza fighting some guy with golden hair. Their scouters can't even read the power. They scramble and try to find a ship, but it's already too late. Not in the sense that the planet explodes, but in the sense that they get teleported back to Earth alongside everybody else. Everyone besides Goku and Frieza are brought to Earth. As for Zarbon and crew, they actually were able to escape. They were close enough to one of the Frieza Force ships to get aboard them and actually depart the planet before the next wish was made, so they don't get teleported to Earth. It's kind of funny because they get a nice side effect from this what if too. Oh yeah, and the frog inside of Ginyu's body, he's brought back to Earth too. When they arrive on Earth, their powers are pretty easy to sense. Vegeta finds them pretty quickly and gets ready to kill them, but Guldo quickly stops time, grabs the frog Ginyu, and he makes a run for it. Once time resumes, the other three notice he's gone and they quickly follow. A little bit of time passes and they're in the middle of the woods. Thanks to their scouters, they actually located Ginyu's original body, and it kind of took a while for him to swap back into his regular body, but they eventually figured out a way to make the frog croak the words change. So he swaps back with the frog, and now he's normal. Vegeta then lands nearby, and moments after, Piccolo and Gohan show up too. Vegeta tells him to not interfere. He's gonna enjoy killing them another time. Jace panics and tells him to wait a second. Before they fight, he wants to know what the hell happened. Why are they here and what happened to Frieza? And Piccolo lets them know. By now, Goku has apparently killed Frieza, and it seems like Goku might have died as well, but no one's really sure about what happened just yet. What they do know is that Goku became the Super Saiyan of legend. Oh, well, that kind of changes things for the Ginyu Force. On one hand, they kind of do need to finish their mission. They don't want to just leave it unfinished. But on the other hand, who's going to pay them? They're out of a job, they have no leader, and they don't even have ships. How are they supposed to even leave this planet? Fighting these people is kind of pointless, but since they're going to want to fight anyways, and they're fighting for survival, the Ginyu Force really has no choice. So they get ready for battle. A quick fight ensues. Vegeta, Piccolo, and Gohan combined are way stronger than the Ginyu Force now. Even Piccolo alone would be enough to take them on, and they're not going to be caught off guard by Ginyu's body swap either. The Ginyu Force is beaten for a second time, and Vegeta gets ready to kill them, but before he does, a ship lands nearby. Bulma was a little bit worried, thinking that other villains might have been teleported to Earth. For all they know, other Frieza Force soldiers might have been here. They didn't realize that with the wish, this probably would have revived anyone Vegeta killed. Now, thankfully, there aren't any other Frieza Force soldiers here. But just in case, she called the Galactic Patrol, contacting her old friend Jocko. He's a little bit worried because he knows he might have to encounter the Ginyu Force, but by the time he arrives, he sees them beat up. They can't even fight. He's brought some other patrolmen alongside him, including a newer one who actually seems like he might be stronger than him. And technically Jocko should be trying to arrest Vegeta, but considering how strong he is, and the fact that he also beat up the Ginyu Force, he lets Vegeta off with a warning. Mainly out of fear because he's not even going to try to mess with that. This interruption prevents Vegeta from killing the Ginyu Force, and they get apprehended by the patrol. Recoome tries to fight back at one point, but weirdly enough, one of the patrolmen easily defeats him. This also freaks Jocko out a bit too. Oh, looks like they are in good hands. The patrolman with bowl cut thanks everybody, and they get going. That was, well, strange, for lack of a better word. But eventually they catch up with Bulma and figure out what happened and who that was. A few days go by. The badly injured Ginyu Force arrives at the Galactic Patrol prison, and they're all split up too. Damn it, to think that they'd be caught by the Galactic Patrol. It seems their technology's improved too. With their strength, I thought maybe they'd be able to break out pretty easily, but of course, they're in a pretty high security part. Although, there are some ways to get out of here. In Ginyu's cell, a guard gets too close to him at one point. Ginyu swaps with him, frees his body, and then swaps back into his regular body. throwing the guard into the cell too. It might have been good to keep that body for a disguise, but he'd rather keep his own stronger body. So he sneaks around the prison, trying to find the rest of his teammates. And in the halls, he meets up with someone familiar. It's Goldo. He was able to break out of his cell. It took a lot of focus for him, but using his telekinesis, he was able to grab a key from one of the guards, freeing himself too. Now they just need to find the other three. Since they're in the high security part of the prison, they run by a few cells with a lot of strong people in there. A lot of them are freaks too. At one point, they go by a cell that has a really weird presence in it. Now, they can't sense ki, but something feels really scary and off. It almost feels like they're being watched. Out of curiosity, Goldo peers into the cell and is immediately terrified as he sees eyes staring back at him. The cell is marked as Moro, and they have no clue who that is, but they're not going to mess with him. They're able to find Jace, Birder, and Raccoon, and especially with Birder's speed, that really helps them get out quickly. And while they're able to stealthily make it through the prison, they're pretty easy to notice, especially with three of them being pretty big, particularly Birder and Raccoon, so it's not like they could really sneak around that much. Plus, with 5 prisoners missing, at some point one of the guards is going to be alerted. They're captured by Jocko and some other guards, and they get ready to fight, but that one with the bowl cut appears again. They learn his name's Maris. Jocko's really annoyed that this guy keeps showing him up, but she's also surprised at how strong he is. He only just joined the patrol a few weeks ago, and he's shown some real promise. The Ginyu Force tries to fight back, but Maris easily beats them all up, single-handedly in fact. And with their technology, they're able to restrain the Ginyu Force again. But before they get placed back into their cells, Ginyu tries to bargain with them. Now, they can't rejoin Frieza. He's dead apparently. And they are mercenaries, which means anyone could hire them. They loved working with Frieza. He had great pay, and some great benefits too. Like, the Frieza Force had free health insurance when you think about it. And maybe they had a space version of a 401k, who knows. Anyways, Ginyu's whole point here is that they could work for the patrol. They're pretty strong, they have great abilities, and clearly the patrol needs better strength. Jocko says that's a really stupid idea. Why would they trust them? Well, think about it like this. Ginyu says they get their freedom, and they work for the patrol, and the patrol gets great allies on their side. And Ginyu is a man of his word. He's very honorable, and his crewmates are loyal to him too, so he'll make sure they follow in line. Of course, this isn't going to be enough for everyone to let them free, but Maris has an interesting reaction. He believes them. Jocko says he's crazy. They don't recruit mass murderers. And why does Maris feel like he could trust them? Well, call it a hunch. He can't actually say why, but as an angel, he probably has some sort of way to know they're actually telling the truth. And who knows, maybe the Galactic Patrol has really advanced lie detectors. So they consider the offer, and even tell the Galactic King about it. He thinks it's pretty risky, but they have guards against it. Each Ginyu will get an implant. This implant will track them, and in case they ever try to rebel, it'll also send a shock straight to their brain and knock them out instantly. And they have no chances at screw-ups either. If they try to rebel, they will be caught, placed back into maximum security, and they won't have any chance of being released. Maris can tell that they're not actually lying. They will be true to their word, but, this makes sense as a countermeasure. They get these trackers installed. Jocko feels like he's seen this in a movie before. Criminals being recruited for a government agency. Maybe they could blow up their heads if they try and leave. Maris kind of does this out of intrigue too. He wants to study these mortals who are supposedly evil. The whole reason he came here is because he wanted to study mortals in the first place, and this will be interesting to observe. Of course, you'll get to see all the other mortals too, like the good ones on Earth. But now, the Galactic Patrol has their newest patrolman, a special squad of theirs called the Ginyu Force. They get to keep their outfits, their name, and most importantly, their poses. Jocko at least respects that part about them. The Ginyu Force did have one condition that they wanted to work under though. They wanted to be assigned to Earth, or at least that section of the galaxy. That was pretty easy to agree to, so they assigned them there. Again, if they do cause any issues, Earth has its own strong warriors that can defend themselves against the Ginyu Force, and they have their own measures in place too, with those chips implanted in their heads. Now we fast forward a bit. Around the time when Frieza arrives back on Earth, Zarbon and the other three eventually found the Frieza Force again, and they joined King Cold here. Mecha Frieza's still a thing too, but Zarbon and the other three wait in space. King Cold and Frieza go down there to clean up everything, but they get killed pretty quickly. There are two people that show up to fight them, Future Trunks and Future Gohan. The Future is actually safe here. They're just coming back in time to prevent the heart virus from affecting Goku. So what happened here? Well, the androids arrived in the future. Gohan and Trunks had to train up a lot, but they did get some external help. As a last resort, Bulma was working on a time machine, but after thinking about contacting Jocko before when everyone came back from Namek, she has the idea to contact him here again. Jocko himself couldn't really help against the androids. Gohan remembers that one of the patrolmen is actually really strong, some guy with a bowl cut, but he hasn't seen him since. But another group actually comes down to Earth, the Ginyu Force. By this time, Gohan has Super Saiyan, and Trunks doesn't have it yet, but he's working towards it. Gohan doesn't really like the idea of working with the Ginyu Force, considering what happened the last time he encountered them. They don't even recognize it's Gohan at first because he's all grown up, but he seems pretty powerful, especially with the Super Saiyan form. So that's what defeated Frieza. At least when it was used by Goku, of course. It is pretty interesting to see, and a little concerning to hear what's happened to Earth in the meantime. By this point, so many years have passed that the Ginyu Force is fully reformed. They fight alongside Gohan, killing the androids with them. He is pretty amazed to see that they're actually good guys now, and it wasn't a bluff. They wish they came to Earth to help protect it sooner, but they had other missions they were working on, and even if they did come to Earth, they probably wouldn't have stood a chance against the androids at that point. Future Gohan tells everybody this when they're back in the past. No one knows who Trunks is though, but they leave that kind of secret. And this is a nice opportunity for Gohan to meet his past self, as well as seeing Goku again, of course. Same for Piccolo, Krillin, everyone else who died. He's really glad to see them all again, and he looks forward to seeing them again soon. They're going to return in a few years just to make sure everything went okay, and because they kind of want to as well. Calling Jocko was a last resort in the future, and it's a good thing Bulma worked on the time machine. This is kind of just to clean everything up, just in case they can bring the Dragon Balls and everyone back, but if not, well, it's at least worth a try. They go back to the future. Meanwhile, out in space, Zarbon and Dodoria are still alive, as well as some other Frieza Force members. Zarbon actually heads the Frieza Force now. I guess that makes it the Zarbon Force. Dodoria is his right-hand man, and Kui is number 3 in command too. Epiel's probably up there too. I don't know where though. There's not much left of the Frieza Force though, but Zarbon will be sure to bring it back to its former glory. He did hear a rumor that the Ginyu Force was captured by the Galactic Patrol, which makes them curious about trying to free them, but at the same time, they kind of worked as contractors, so they're not too important. Plus, if the Patrol caught them, that says the Patrol's probably really strong. It's not like they could do anything with Earth either, because they were strong enough to actually kill Frieza this time. Not to mention Goku beating him on Namek. So they kind of hang back for now. The Ginyus are out in space training and working to prove their loyalty. They do go on a few missions, and they're able to help the Patrol a lot. Besides Maris, they're actually the fastest to move up in ranks. Although they are kind of part of a special unit, so they don't really have ranks like other people, but now they're actually getting paid. Before, they were paid in their freedom. Now, they're paid in actual money. And they're incredibly loyal to the Patrol now. Jocko's pretty impressed. He didn't think these mass killers could actually reform. It looks like their jobs and payment are more important to them than the work that they actually do. They're fine with whatever as long as it ends in a paycheck. A few years pass after Frieza's real death, and a few weeks before the androids arrive, Jocko gets a call. Bulma calls him and asks if he could help out on Earth. She knew everyone wanted to train to fight the androids, and she thought that was really stupid. Now, they don't know she's doing this, but she's calling Jocko to see if he could help fight against the androids with them. He hadn't contacted her in years, and the first time she did, it was to capture the Ginyu Force. He could have died doing that. But she tells him it looked pretty good for him, right? Like, he captured the Ginyu Force. And, yeah, it kind of did make him look good. Although, Maris still part of the credit. Anyway, she's doing this as insurance. Her friends are all meatheads, and who knows what the androids are capable of. It could help to have some extra muscle. And Jocko says he personally can't go there, but he knows exactly who to send. She also can't tell anyone, and she doesn't really have another choice. The Ginyus get their first mission on Earth. Interesting. They're going back there. They wonder what's changed so far. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. What did you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me I want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.